Welcome to Latin at Ridgewood High School. I'm going to walk you through some of the class expectations for this year so that you have a very clear idea of what we're all going to be working on together as we move through the year. So this is essentially your guide to success. How are you going to do well? How are you going to meet the expectations of our Latin program here? I'll give you as much information as I can. Participation in class is a must. I request that you ask questions and answer questions as often as you can. It's really important for you to have fun during class. It's also really important for you to be prepared. You should always have your notebook. I had you get a spiral notebook for class. You need to bring that regularly. You should bring your textbook. You should bring a pen or a pencil so that you can write. And then you should also bring your Chromebook. We'll be doing a healthy balance, I think, of using your notebook as well as your Chromebook. Another element of participation grades comes from completing assignments that I give to you in the Campus Center. When I'm absent, I'll post these assignments on Classroom, and I'll expect you to complete them during that period. You should raise your hand so that you can be respectful of the class environment. In general, we do want you to be respectful of your peers and show patience, show sympathy, offer to help when people need help, offer any sort of assistance that might be required around you. Homework is given on a regular basis. It's statistically proven that students who do their homework tend to do better in school. So I don't assign homework all the time. In fact, I don't do it every single night. But when I do assign homework, it's for a very particular and important reason. Sometimes I do what's called a flipped classroom or flipped learning, and I give you something that I want you to learn at home so that when you come back to class, we have more time to practice it together. Sometimes we do it in the reverse, where I give you instruction in school and then you do activities at home to practice that new skill. Either way, I do require that you do homework every time it's given to you, and I grade it on completion. So if you do your homework, you get your 20 points. If you do half the work, you get 10 points, and I don't accept late homework. Most of the time, we review homework, we either correct it or we use it in the very next class. So there's really no incentive for you to do homework after the fact, after it has already been used in class. I'll be giving quizzes regularly, approximately every 2 class cycles. A class cycle will be, the times that your class meets between a 4-day and a 1-day. Quizzes are 50 points. They're on a very focused topic. For example, conjugating a new verb form or translating a couple of sentences that feature new vocabulary. A quiz is expected to last about half a period, and I offer study guides so that you understand the expectations and the format of the quiz, and that will be given on Classroom. About 3 tests will be given each marking period at various points. Tests cover various different parts of information. It's not all grammar, it's not all culture. You'll have a balance of each. And usually there are a good 4 sections of information that you're going to have to know for each test. A study guide will be provided for each test via Classroom. Tests are 100 points each, and then the points get distributed from the sections. No test is the same as the last. I try to vary the approaches that I'm using to assess you on each test. But all of that will be explained in each of the study guides that's given to you on Classroom. In each marking period, you'll complete at least 1 project. All projects are based in your creative approach. All projects have to do with some element of Roman culture. Once in a while, you'll get a mini project. A mini project is something that you complete individually. It's not a group effort, and there are very specific expectations. For example, a mini project might ask you to cook an element of Roman food. So there's a very finite format for the project. Regular projects that usually take a little bit longer to do, you will create products that are on the Project Bingo bulletin board that's located in our classroom. The project options in Project Bingo are all featured in rubrics in a folder that I will be sharing with you. And the folder that I'm sharing with you is going to be called Project Options for Latin. You'll be able to read each rubric as you create your project, and you'll see that each project will get you 100 points. If you're absent at any point, check Google Classroom, because generally activities that we do during class or homework assignments get posted to Classroom while we're working on them. If anything was posted, you'll see it and you'll have an opportunity to work on it while you're at home. You can also check Skyward. Sometimes I will preload a homework assignment in, and then that'll give you an idea. Or you can simply ask a classmate to see, what it is that you missed. If you're out for more than one day, I would suggest you send me an email so that I can give you more specific instructions as to the work that you've missed and a game plan for getting you back on track again. If I do a lesson and I give new information and new instruction, I got a grant last year for a really cool device called a swivel, which enables me to record the class on this device with my iPad. And then I upload the video of the class to YouTube, and then you will be able to watch the video and get the whole feel of what the class was like and how the instruction was delivered. So if you send me an email or you come back to school the next day, I'll be able to let you know that yesterday's class was recorded on Swivel, and that you'll have access to that class on YouTube as well. You've probably noticed in the front of the room that there are folders that say Tempus Fugit. Once in a while, you might be done with your work in class earlier than the time that I've given to complete it. Sometimes you finish a test or a quiz before some of your classmates. You are welcome at any point in time to take some of the worksheets from the Tempus Fugit folder and complete them as extra credit. Each activity that you complete for Tempus Fugit will get you 5 points of extra credit. If you do assignments in the exact time that everybody else does and you don't finish early, that's okay. You can grab Tempus Fugit at any point in time, whether it's the beginning of the day, the end of the day, the middle of the marking period, or whatnot. So you'll earn 5 points per completed assignment. And before the end of the marking period, I will let you know that there is one specific day on which all Tempus Fugit work is due for that particular marking period. And then I add everything up and I put it into Skyward as extra points. Finally, I have a system of mulligans. In golf, a mulligan is when you sort of excuse a bad shot. If your ball has gone into the sand, if your ball has gone into the woods, you can take a mulligan and pretend that that never happened, and your score doesn't reflect your bad shot. And so I incorporate the concept of mulligans in my classroom. There are 2 types of mulligans that you can use. One of them is a homework mulligan. Let's say you have 6 homework assignments. I'm one of them. You have 2 tests, and your lacrosse practice runs late, and as you're coming home, mom is cooking dinner for you in the kitchen and a small toaster fire erupts, and there's just not enough time to do the Latin homework assignment. That's okay. When I come around to check the homework, just tell me I'm taking a mulligan, and I will give you full credit for the assignment. I won't ask you any questions. You don't have to explain the situation to me, and then you don't have to make the assignment up after the fact. You will get 1 homework mulligan for each marking period. You use that at whatever time you need it. Mulligans do not roll over from one marking period to the next. So if you don't use a homework mulligan in the first marking period, you don't get 2 to use during the second marking period. You are also entitled to 2 test or quiz mulligans throughout the year. You can postpone taking a quiz or a test up to 48 hours. So if you have a test on a Wednesday and the Tuesday night before, you're about to plan to start studying when all of a sudden, your dog throws up and you end up at the vet hospital, and you're worried about your dog and you're out at the vet until 2:00 in the morning. And although your dog might be fine in the end, you just didn't get the proper amount of time that you would have wanted or needed to study for your Latin test. That's fine. Before I give the tests to the class, you tell me, Magistra, I'm going to take a test or a quiz mulligan. I write it down, and then you have 2 days to make up that test. Please note that if you take a test or quiz mulligan on a Friday, you will be required to take that test or quiz on Monday. So make sure you have room in your schedule to do that. It is really advised that you not take a test or a quiz mulligan before a vacation. That's not entirely fair to your peers to take an extra week to study, whereas another day or two, I'm sure that they'll be able to sympathize with you about it. Test or quiz mulligans cannot be used for projects. They can only be used for in-class tests or in-class quizzes. Please note that when you do take your test or quiz after you have taken your mulligan, you may or may not get the exact same test that your peers did. Also, you should know that you have 2 test or quiz mulligans to use throughout the year. It is up to your discretion as to when you really need to use your test or quiz mulligans. If, for example, you have a very bad October and you need to use both of them during October, that's fine. I completely understand. But just know that they won't be waiting for you when you are in the middle of tennis season in the spring. So that's the deal with mulligans. I know that I'm probably unique in my approach to using them. So if you have any questions about them, please feel free to ask me. All right, so hopefully now we have reached our goal where by the end of the year, you will have gotten the types of grades that you want. You will have learned Latin as thoroughly as possible, and you will have asked and answered as many questions en route to getting there. Anytime you want to contact me, you can find me in 317 after school during period 9, and you can email me. My email address is right there. I'm very tech friendly, so you can email me throughout the day, and I'd be happy to respond as soon as I can. Please know that, I still have 2 kids, and so whereas I do check my email during after school hours, please try not to email me, past like 9 o'clock if you need to have an answer for tomorrow. If you have a question about a project that's due tomorrow, you need to contact me before the nighttime so that I have enough chance to respond. I go to bed earlier than you do, so I want to be able to respond to you if you do write to me. I look forward to having a successful and productive year with all of you. Have a great evening.